What's going on, Chemical Guys family? Thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode of Detail Garage. Our good friends from Faraday just brought in this beautiful FF91, which is their pre-production concept vehicle. And as you can see, it is just an awesome looking vehicle that we've never seen before, and this is actually our first look at anything even like this. So there are many different things that set this vehicle apart from the rest. Starting with the hood here, since this vehicle is electric powered, traditionally you don't need a hood, giving you more cabin space and also giving you more ample volume inside of the vehicle, making it more comfortable for the driver as well as the passengers. Speaking of the passengers, the rear seats recline all the way back into a 60-degree zero gravity comfort zone, giving you the most luxurious ride. But taking a step back, looking at the vehicle, it has a very unique design all the way around, giving you this refreshing take on what automotive vehicles in the future have to come. To me, this has more of a UFO or a spaceship design rather than your traditional vehicle. It's actually about the same size as your average vehicle, but with the breakup in colors as well as the blocks of black, it helps to separate it and give you more of a visually pleasing appearance, and it makes the vehicle seem smaller than it actually is. It's headed for a show, and we want to make sure that it looks its best, and also it's protected during the shipping stages so that no damage or any kind of messes occur where it can't be removed easily. So we're going to take the time to quickly wash it using our Swift Wipe, which is a waterless wash which gently removes any kind of abrasive particles, bird droppings, road grime, and also fingerprints, because this is their pre-production model which has been test driven by many people, so we want it to look its best and also protect it. So let's get started by using our Swift Wipe. And as I mentioned, this is a waterless wash that contains a fine amount of sealant which helps to protect the finish, but it's also going to enhance that gloss. As you can see, it's got this beautiful white finish, but this is actually a vinyl wrap, so we want something that's going to protect it as well as enhance it without causing any kind of discoloration. Simply start by shaking up the bottle, and you can use Swift Wipe on any surface that is gloss painted, shiny, clear, your vinyl wraps, chrome, glass, and just by spraying it directly on the surface and giving it a chance to emulsify any abrasive particles, this is going to be the safest way to quickly wipe away any kind of messes. You can see here that hands and fingerprints have collected across the roof line and the B-pillars. But in one simple motion, it removes it and it enhances any kind of gloss and leaves no kind of residue. You can come back and buff away any kind of streaks, but essentially as you wipe, as long as you're rolling the towel, you're creating a fresh edge, which prevents any kind of streaks or haze. And it works well for cleaning glass as well. And like I mentioned, this leaves behind a fine layer of sealant which helps to protect that finish to keep it looking its best for as long as possible. Now, rolling the towel while also working in linear motions creates a fresh edge. This car doesn't have a lot of dust on in there, but you can see that as you roll, it's going to essentially prevent any kind of buildup, which prevents the chances of scratching the surface. Even areas down here, such as the sensitive piano trim plastic where a lot of scratches and swirls occur, you can still use your Swift Wipe. You can even spray the towel for added cleaning power and lubrication. And using that same linear motion and also rolling the towel prevent the installation of new scratches and swirls. And it gently picks up any kind of dust, any kind of grime, to give the surface its best finish overall. But that sealant adds a protective property which helps to repel any kind of dust. It also reduces cling, so it makes it easier to clean itself and also stays looking cleaner for longer. Restores that beautiful, lustrous, deep shine. And on a vehicle like this, where it's pre-production, we didn't want to bring out any kind of buckets or hoses where we could potentially cause leaks. So this is the best way to remove any kind of surface grime without damaging the vehicle. Swift Wipe is a very versatile tool. You can also use it on your gloss finishes such as your wheels. This has a very high gloss black finish. And we're just going to spray directly onto the surface, and this will pick up any kind of brake dust. We'll just give it a second to kind of dwell, and that'll soften up any abrasive particles. And just like we do with any kind of wheel detailing service, we're going to start at the top and work our way using a clockwise or counterclockwise motion, just picking up any kind of dust or messes, frequently rolling and flipping the towel to make sure we have fresh edges and new faces. This prevents any kind of, again, any abrasive particles from scratching the finish. As you can see, it has a very large face and it's all gloss black, so we want to make sure that we don't install any kind of swirls or scratches, which will show very predominantly on this kind of finish. But this very quickly picks up any kind of messes, and it's great for where this car is headed to a show, where you can just quickly bust out your Swift Wipe, clean it up, and keep it looking its best for as long as possible. Now, like we had mentioned, this vehicle is headed to a show, so we want this car to stand out among the rest. And what that means is we're going to start by cleaning the tire off, just to remove any kind of dressings, weather hazard on there, as well as any kind of road grime, using nonsense. We're going to use it at full strength just to ensure that we've removed any kind of surface grime or debris. And we're also going to be using our Nifty brush, which has this low profile design, which means that it's not going to come in contact with the rim or the body itself, but we'll simply spray some right into the bristles as well as onto the tire. And this is an all-purpose cleaner that's safe for any kind of tire and wheel finish. And this gently removes grease, tar, grime, old dressings. You can see that brown runoff to reveal a fresh tire. And a bare surface means that a dressing is going to bond better and last longer. This way you get the better overall finish. Normally I would use a black towel to show you, you don't want to cross-contaminate your towel, so normally I'd use a black workhorse towel. But in this case, I'm just going to use an old workhorse towel to show you all the grease and grime that comes off the tire. You can already see that the nonsense has turned brown, which is mixed with any kind of mess, any old dressings and grime. You can see just how dirty the tire actually is. We're going to thoroughly dry it so that our dressing will bond better and last longer. And for this vehicle, we've chosen to use VRP, which is a water-based dressing that adds a deep gloss, but it's going to remain dry to the touch, so it's not going to fling off. It's not going to attract any kind of dust, and it just looks great overall. So we start by shaking up the bottle. We're just going to apply some to our applicator pad. 2 lines should be plenty. We'll just blotch it out and then start working it into the tire. You can also use this on any kind of interior or exterior vinyl, rubber, and plastic trim. This way you can add some gloss, but more importantly, you're adding a layer of protection against harmful UV rays or any kind of harsh elements in general to, again, prevent any kind of fading, discoloration, and it also gives it this deep lustrous shine. Now you can leave it on the surface just like this for that glossier effect, or come back with a clean microfiber towel and wipe off any excess. Now, Swift Wipe is also a very versatile product. A very overlooked area in any vehicle is going to be the door jambs, and we're going to show you just a great way. We're going to show you a great way to quickly remove any kind of dust and also any kind of messes that accumulate in the areas that we commonly overlook, such as the door jambs. We'll start by spraying the towel. And you can just see here, there's a light layer of road debris, dust, and this will pick it up very gently without scratching the finish. Whether it's painted or gloss wrap, Swift Wipe works very well. It's just clean your vehicle from inside and the outside. Keep it looking its best. And that protective layer of sealant will make it harder for new grime and dust to stick to the surface. You can just see here what was lingering on there. White hides a lot of the dirt, but it actually is just as dirty as any other vehicle. A lot of people wonder if it's the vehicle itself, but it's actually just the color. It hides it very well. And there we go. It just picks up any kind of messes very quickly and very easily, which is why having a bottle of Swift Wipe on hand at all times is great. You can keep it in your car for those quick touch-ups, or whether you're on the go, you just want to keep your car looking its best, Swift Wipe is the way to go. Now, Swift Wipe works well for removing that light layer of dust, but there's still going to be that area where over time accumulation of grease and dirt and grime will start to cake up and build up. So now we're going to reach for our nonsense, which again is an all-purpose cleaner that's safe for virtually any surface. Using one of our All in the Details brush, we're just going to gently scrub away any kind of messes. And the very soft nylon bristles make sure that we're not scratching any kind of sensitive finishes, but it's just agitating the cleaner so that we can get the full effect, the completely clean surface. Now lastly, take a clean microfiber towel and just wipe off any of the spent product, any residue. And then you get that overall finish. Much better. All nice and clean and dry. And then you can always add a protectant such as VRP to your seals and your vinyl, rubber, and plastic surfaces such as the door jambs. Now that the surface is nice and clean, we're going to apply a protectant. Now, like we were mentioning, this has a vinyl wrap on there, and we were just told that it's over 4 years old, so considering it looks great, but we want to make sure that it looks its best for as long as possible, we're going to use butter wet wax, which is a carnauba wax that's safe for any kind of surface, whether it's glossy painted surfaces or your glossy wraps. This adds a fine layer of carnauba, which protects the surface against harmful UV rays or any kind of discoloration. And we're going to apply it by hand using a soft microfiber applicator pad. Simply start by applying a few dots to the applicator. You want to make sure that the surface is cool so that the butter wet wax has the proper time to cure and bond. But we'll just start by blotching it out. And like I was saying, you can use this on any surface that's gloss painted, shiny, clear. So that includes your headlights, your glass mirrors, wheels, any kind of body panels. We're going to use a crosshatch pattern, working in linear motions just to ensure that we don't miss any areas, any high spots, things like that. But this is going to repel dust, keeps the car looking cleaner. It also helps to enhance some of that shine, that warm carnauba gloss. And again, since this is a vinyl wrap, we want to add the proper layer of protection to prevent any kind of harsh elements from damaging the finish. So this is going to act as a barrier between UV rays, water spots, dust and messes, and against the vinyl wrap. Put some on the headlights here to prevent kind of water spots. So butter wet wax only takes a couple minutes to start bonding to the surface, and we're going to allow about 10 minutes for it to actually cure. So we're going to start working our way around the vehicle, and by the time we come back, it'll be time to buff it off using a clean microfiber towel. Now we're also going to do our final step of using a quick detail spray so that we can show you guys the after results and the amazing shine that's going to have at the show. We've given butter wet wax approximately 10 minutes to start bonding to the surface, and you see that it has a light flash to it. So now using a premium microfiber towel, we're just going to buff off any of the spent product and the excess to reveal that high shine. But by applying a very fine coat, it wipes off nice and easily without using any kind of effort or excess pressure, which could damage sensitive surfaces. And again, this is providing a layer of protection against harsh elements, but it's also enhancing that gloss. The surface feels nice and slick now, really smooth, which helps to repel dust and water spots to again keep this looking clean for as long as possible. The final step with any detail is going to be the final touches using a quick detail spray. Like we've been mentioning, this car has a vinyl wrap on there, so we're going to be using a wrap detailer, which just gently cleans and enhances any kind of clear bras, vinyl wraps, and PPFs. And we're just going to simply spray directly on the surface. And this picks up any kind of fingerprints, dust, mist areas, because like we're mentioning, this car is going to a show where a lot of people are going to be oohing and awing over this vehicle, possibly touching it. And this is the best way to pick up any kind of fingerprints and smudges so that they can get that overall effect. Gently wipes off using your favorite microfiber towel. Today we're using a happy ending towel for that perfect finish. And it just picks up anything we may have missed. But like we're saying, this is going to a show, so this is perfect for when they're showing the vehicle. This just removes any kind of dust, fingerprints, messes, and enhances the overall shine. Well guys, that pretty much wraps up this part of the video, but stay tuned for part 2 where we're going to jump on the interior of this beautiful vehicle. If you guys want to check out any of these products, head over to our website, chemicalguys.com, or to your local detail garage, and we'll see you guys next time.